Lads, buckle up because we've got a bombshell today. The biggest headline is that Newcastle already have a £65 million signing ready to make his debut this Saturday against Wolves. But hold on, we'll get to that at the end, because before then we've got two massive updates you need to hear. So stick with me right to the finish, because this last story could set St. James Park on fire. I'm Rodrigo, and this is Newcastle Mania, the channel made by a fan, for fans who bleed black and white. You blinked, and Newcastle are back on the front pages everywhere. We've got 3 huge stories today, and the last one could change everything for the team in the next match. But before we get going, just a quick word. Remember when some Chelsea fans said our channel would never grow because our fan base was too small? Well, they are starting to go very quiet, because this community is growing every single day. So if you love Newcastle and you want to shut them up, smash that subscribe button now. It's free, and it gives massive strength to our black and white army here on the channel. News 1. Fratesi not convinced. To kick things off, let's talk transfers. And this one's a proper talking point. Newcastle United did try to open talks with Davide Fratesi, the Inter Milan midfielder. The problem? The deal never took off because, according to the Italian press, the player didn't feel valued. He didn't get that sense that he was going to be a key part of the project. The plan from Newcastle was straightforward. Bring him in on loan with an option to buy at the end of the season. And more than that, journalists in Italy claimed that if the club had gone in stronger, with more conviction, the move could have actually happened. But Newcastle's more cautious approach meant the chance slipped away. Fratesi is 25 years old, seen as one of the bright talents in Italian football, and here's an important detail. He shares the same agent as Sandro Tonali, Beppe Rizzo. That had plenty of fans dreaming. Just imagine, Tonali and Fratesi side by side, 2 Italians running the show in midfield at St. James Park. That would have been something special to see, wouldn't it? But in reality, the club's priorities were elsewhere. Newcastle ended up bringing in Jacob Ramsey to strengthen the squad and went heavy on attacking reinforcements, with Callum Wilson leaving and injuries piling up, leaving Eddie Howe short up front. So Fratesi was pushed down the list. Here's another twist. The player's own agent publicly admitted that he was the one pushing for an exit from Inter because Fratesi wasn't getting enough minutes on the pitch. But things only got more complicated when Inter brought in Andy Diouf, which increased the competition for places. And to top it off, Fratesi has been recovering from a hernia surgery over the summer, which disrupted his season even further. Up until now, he's barely played any minutes. With a contract running until 2026, his future is still wide open. Will he finally find his place at Inter? Or could a Premier League side, maybe even Newcastle again, come knocking for him in the future? And that's where I'll pass the ball to you. Fan, did Newcastle miss out on a big opportunity by not pushing harder for Fratesi? Or were they right to focus on urgent areas, like strikers and ready-made players to deliver right now? This is one of those debates where opinions will definitely be split. News 2. Bruno Guimaraes endures. Now then, Geordie, it's time to talk about a lad who's simply the heartbeat of this team, our captain, Bruno Guimaraes. And let me tell you, he's just come back from another exhausting marathon with the Brazilian national side. And this time, the challenge was one of those that literally takes your breath away. Carlo Ancelotti made big changes to Brazil's lineup for their last World Cup qualifier, but who was the only outfield player to keep his place? That's right, Bruno. He played the full 90 minutes in their defeat to Bolivia. And don't think it was just any ordinary game. This was at the Estadio Municipal de El Alto, sitting over 4,000 meters above sea level. To give you an idea, at that altitude the air is so thin your body instantly feels a lack of oxygen. It's so intense that players often need oxygen masks after the match just to get their breath back. Now imagine running, tackling, creating play, and still handling the pressure under those conditions. It's a true test of endurance, and Bruno battled through it from start to finish. But there was a twist. Bruno ended up conceding the penalty that gave Bolivia the win, and sealed their place in the World Cup playoffs. A bit of detail in his performance, but one that highlights just how brutal the conditions really were. It's never easy to keep your levels high when your body is pushed right to the edge. And here's where the concern kicks in. Bruno is flying back to Tyneside practically at the last minute, with only 2 days to rest before we take on Wolves at St. James Park. 2 days, Geordie. That's hardly any time at all, especially after a match played in such extreme conditions. And as if that wasn't enough, just around the corner comes one of the biggest matches of the season, the Champions League clash against Barcelona. A game that stirs the city, excites the fans, and means everything to the players, because who doesn't dream of shining on that stage? So here's the big question. What does Eddie Howe do? Does he take the risk and play as captain on Saturday against Wolves, trusting Bruno's strength and commitment? Or does he think long-term, hold him back, protect him physically, and get our midfield maestro fully ready for that massive European showdown? It's a tough call, and whichever way he goes, there will be debate. If Bruno plays against Wolves and ends up drained, he could struggle in the Champions League. If he's rested, we lose one of our pillars in a key Premier League game. It's the kind of dilemma that only proves how vital Bruno is to Newcastle on and off the pitch. So, Geordie, I'll throw the ball to you. If you were in Eddie Howe's shoes, what would you do? Would you start Bruno on Saturday or lock him away and save him for Barcelona? News 3, the £65 million signing. And now, Geordie, this is a moment everyone's been waiting for. The bombshell of the day, the headline that makes everyone stop and pay attention. Newcastle already have their record signing ready to step out on the pitch. I'm talking about Nick Woltemade, the £65 million signing, finally cleared to wear the black and white in action. The 23-year-old striker comes back from international duty with Germany full of confidence, after 2 World Cup qualifiers where he showed personality and even provided an assist for none other than Serge Gnabry, Bayern Munich star. So this isn't just hype. He's already proven he can play at the highest level against top opposition in games that really matter. And here's the key detail. Physically, he's 100% ready. He's already trained with his new teammates at Benton and impressed everyone with his movement and how quickly he's adapting to Eddie Howe's style of play. That makes all the difference, because a big money signing without match fitness only leads to frustration. But this time, the timing is spot on. Newcastle needed an immediate impact, and Woltemade is exactly that. Let's not forget, he couldn't make his debut last weekend against Leeds because his registration wasn't completed in time. But now there are no more obstacles. He's fully registered and ready to make his first appearance in front of the St. James Park faithful. And we need to talk about the emotional side too. Woltemade himself hasn't hidden his excitement. He said that from the very first contact he felt how much Newcastle really wanted him, that there was a serious project in place for him, and he made it clear this is a perfect place to reach the peak of his career. Strong words, showing a player committed not just to the contract, but to making history here. Just picture it, Geordie. St. James Park packed, over 50,000 voices roaring, waiting to see the new £65 million signing take his first touches on the ball. It gives you goosebumps. This isn't just another game against Wolves. This is one of those moments where the season takes on a whole new meaning, where a new name can ignite the attack, reignite dreams of trophies, of Champions League glory, and of Newcastle standing firmly among Europe's giants. And let me tell you, this could easily be the most anticipated debut of the year. The size of the investment, the expectations of the fans, and the player's hunger to prove himself make this match unmissable. But here's the big question. What if Woltemade scores on his debut? Can you imagine what would happen? St. James Park would erupt, and maybe, just maybe, we could be witnessing the birth of a brand new idol leading Newcastle's attack. One of those players who, in no time, becomes a symbol of a new era. So get ready, Geordie. Because Saturday against Wolves could be the start of a brand new chapter, and the main character has a name, Nick Woltemade. Asterisk, Geordie. Those were the 3 big stories of the day. The Fratis saga that went nowhere, Bruno Guimaraes' marathon with Brazil, and of course, the explosive arrival of Woltemade ready to make his debut. Now I want to hear from you. Should Howe throw Woltemade straight into the starting 11 against Wolves? Or would it be wiser to save this card for the Champions League clash? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because I'll be reading every single one. And of course, don't forget to hit that like button, turn on the notification bell, and subscribe here to Newcastle Mania. Thanks for watching until the end, and get your heart ready, because the transfer market and the pitch are still going to bring us plenty more thrills.